Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. I'm Nicolette Hodge. Welcome to We Reflect the Light. This is part 3, continuation of Victory is Ours, the rise of the original man and woman. The war in the Middle East is intensifying day by day. It is in full action, full throttle, sisters and brothers. We know exactly how the war is going to turn out. We know exactly what this war is about, who it's about. This war is about us. We are the true seed of Abraham. We have an inheritance, a vision that our enemies are desperately trying to prevent us from fulfilling. So, as promised, here on part 3, we will identify 2 of the ways that these devils are trying to deal with us shrewdly. We'll start off with the book of Exodus. We'll go into our history, which our history identifies exactly who we are. We are given a description in the book. We are given a description, in the book of Genesis of what Abraham's seed would endure, for how long, and what the reward for that sacrifice is. We'll get into the war, the key participants, the outcome, and how this is going to affect the original black man and original black woman right here in North America. Now, Victory is Ours, the rise of the original man and woman. Why is that title chosen that way? Well, maybe jumping the gun a bit, however. The war in the Middle East, the victorious ones in that war is our Iranian brothers and sisters. They have white skin, but they have original blood running through their veins. They are our paternal brothers and sisters. That means we have the same father. Therefore, our brothers and sisters being victorious over in the Middle East is also an example of what's coming here to America. Victory is coming here as well. Victory for the original black man and woman right here in North America. So victory is ours as a unit, sisters and brothers. So that's why that title's chosen that way. And let's continue. Let's get right into it. Come, let us deal shrewdly with them, lest they multiply. And if war breaks out, they join our enemies and fight against us and escape from the land. This is how our enemies are thinking about us. They have conspired against us. They have come together and conspired against us. Earlier in the book of Exodus, it identifies that we are mightier than these devils. So they know that our DNA is superior to theirs. Our DNA has the dominant traits. They have the recessive traits. These 2 points, they want to prevent our multiplication. They haven't been successful with that. They want to prevent us from escaping the land. They will not be successful with that either. They are fearing that if a war breaks out, we join America's enemies, fight against America, and escape from the land. So the question that is important to ask is, why are these devils so fearful? If they've done right by us, then why are they scared? Why are they fearing us, joining their enemies, fighting against them? So that's the question right there. And that will be answered as the presentation goes along. Also, the fact that they are trying to prevent us from escaping right there lets you know that we're being held captive. So It's clear, sisters and brothers. Let's keep moving. I'm going to get into our true experience, the Holocaust. Excuse me. The Holocaust is a true name for our experience, not slavery. Horror. Slavery is maximum profit, minimum overhead, an economic system of capitalism. How did they conduct themselves towards us during that economic system, which we are still under to this day? We served them. What did they do in return to us? How did they treat us? How did they behave towards us? Were they kind? Did they do righteous things to us? Let's see. The Holocaust. Boiling us in hot cane juice. Shoveling shit down our throat, knocking out our teeth, putting muzzles over our mouth so we couldn't spit it out, nor could we ingest anything else. Is that slavery? Slavery is working someone without paying them. Is that slavery? Slavery cannot possibly be the true name of our experience. The Holocaust. During the Holocaust, again, because these devils said they want to prevent us from multiplying. So how would they go about doing that? Let's get into the parable of the wheat and the tares. This also is the true history of the original black woman right here in North America. This is our true experience, sisters. This was what was done to us. So let's keep moving. Another parable he put forth to them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. But when the grain had sprouted and produced a crop, then the tares also appeared. So the servants of the owner came and said to him, Sir, did you not sow good seed in your field? How then does it have tares? He said to them, An enemy has done this. The servant said to him, Do you want us then to go and gather them up? But he said, No, lest while you gather up the tares, you also uproot the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. And at that time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, First gather together the tares and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. All right. All right, so the kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. All right, only men can sow seed. All right, only humans can sow seed. Put it that way. Only people can sow seed. So this is not talking about farming. This is identifying a reproductive situation, a reproductive scenario. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. So this is identifying the man who sowed good seed in his field. What does that mean, sisters and brothers? Make sure to break this down clearly. Man impregnated his black woman. And it was good. This is a good thing. So this is identifying the original black man impregnating his original black woman. Her field is the womb. It's her womb. So while men slept, his enemy, that means somebody with a different seed, enemy, that means he's not the same as him, not the same bloodline, not the same nature. His enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat. Now, tares and wheat look just alike. Tares is also another name for chaff. Chaff and wheat, they look alike. However, they are not the same. So, this enemy that came and impregnated the original black woman with his seed and then went his ways, and his seed, which he forced in her womb, produced tares. So this produced a group of people that look like the wheat. However, they are not the wheat. So this is identifying the wheat, which is the original black man and woman right here in North America, and the chaff, which are the demons. Half devil, half man. They look just like us. They have our skin tone, our features. However, they have the devil's DNA, the devil's blood running through their veins. They are the seed of their devil father. So they are Caucasians and black skin. And that black skin is a camouflage. And we are plagued with demons. Masses, black-faced children, also known as the house Negroes. Now, as you can see, these three devils surrounding this sister, about to pounce on her, attack her, rape her. This is exactly what we have endured for the last 400 plus years. That's not slavery, sisters and brothers. Slavery does not include trying to wipe the original nation's seed out of existence. Again, they were trying to prevent our multiplication. So they did not allow us to be intimate and procreate, reproduce with our original man. They put their seed in our wombs and forced us to produce their children, not our children. So this is one of the ways that they have been trying to deal with us shrewdly. Now, these devils have not gotten away with anything, because here it's identified when he said an enemy has done this. The servant said to him, "Do you want us to go and gather them up?" But he said, "No, lest while you gather up the tares, you also uproot the wheat with them." So these devils, they think they have gotten away with what? The terror and the affliction and the relentless rape that they put us through. However, and with them taking on our skin tone, that's a deception right there. That's a shrewd weapon. However, scriptures tells us that no weapon formed against us shall prosper. So we're dealing with those who look like us, but they're not us. We don't have the same nature. Out of 34 million blacks in America, 17 million are demons. The other 17 million are the original black man and woman, the saints, the wheat. 17 million saints, 17 million chaff. However, remember, their shrewd plan, they wanted to prevent us from multiplying. that 17 million saints, 17 million original sisters and brothers, is proof that they were not successful in preventing our multiplication because they wanted all of us to be their black-faced children. Excuse me, sisters and brothers. So the devil's plan was for all blacks in America to be of his devil seed. However, sisters, we did not allow that to happen. So we are the proof of that here today. We intercepted their shrewd plans against us. So that right there tells you that we have already been victorious in a battle against these devils. And so these two groups of blacks, the original blacks and the Caucasian blacks, it shares here in the parable that let both of them grow together into the harvest, and then at that time they will be separated. So that means that soon we will see a separation will take place between these two groups of black people in America. Now, another way that they are trying to deal with this shrewdly is it all boils down to deception. They have all these different deceptive tactics against us. America teaches that one drop of black blood makes you black. However, that's not true. Well, let me say it like this. One drop of black blood. They say one drop of black blood makes you black. Black does not identify your bloodline. The term black does not identify your nature. So they use this umbrella term to deceive you, thinking that you can identify people by skin color. That way, their house Negroes, their demon children go unnoticed. However, that deceptive trick that they use on us is also being exposed. Again, it is a scientific biological fact that you are the seed of your father, sisters and brothers. The father determines the bloodline, not the mother. So it doesn't matter what your skin tone is, it's about who your father is. And these devils know that. That's why they raped us relentlessly as they tried to totally wipe us out of existence, putting us through mass genocide. However, they did not prevail. And they will not prevail in any of their plans against us. Let's keep moving. This is the description of what Abraham's seed endured. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be sojourners in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. But thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age, and in the 4th generation they shall come hither again. For the iniquity of the Amorite is not yet full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, Behold, a smoking furnace and a flaming torch that passed between these pieces. All right, sisters and brothers. Our father Abram had a vision of horror, not slavery. He had a vision of horror. And that's exactly what we endured. It shared no of a surety. So that means that this is certain. This is a definite. It's not a maybe. It's not a might be. It's not a critical race theory like they're lying to us, telling us. This is a sure, definite. Our history is recorded facts, and they're trying to hide our history from us. However, they won't be successful in that shrewd plan of hiding our history. They're not successful. Just the mere fact that I'm here expressing our history to you, exposing our true experience, lets you know that their shrewd plan to hide our history, all the shrewd ways they're trying to deal with us, none of it, sisters and brothers, none of it will prevail. It should know of a surety that thy seed shall be sojourners. Sojourners means temporary. In a land that is not theirs. That means America is not our land. So anybody saying this is our land, we need to get reparations, they're liars and enemies to us. They're calling the scriptures a liar. They're calling God a liar. They're calling us liars. This is our experience. And they're saying, no, that's not true. So they are our enemies. We're in America, and America is not our land, period. Okay, and what do? And shall serve them. We serve them. That's the slavery portion. We served them. We took care of their agricultural needs. We were in the agricultural age. So we worked the fields. We produced food for them. We grew their crops, their produce. We tended to their cattle. All right. We built their mansions. We did all the labor. And that's only 1% of our experience. But what did they do to us? And they shall afflict them. They afflicted us. Now, how did they do that? The rape of the original black woman, around the clock, relentlessly. The nonstop torture. The evil ways that they have dealt with us, sisters and brothers. They were told, do not touch that tree. And they touched that tree over and over and over again. They're trying to kill that tree. And we are that tree, sisters and brothers, that these devils were told, do not touch. So that's what they're being judged for, afflicting us. And how long did it last? 400 years. How do we know that? 400 years lasted from 1619 to 2019. How can we verify that? 2020 came in with a plague. The next book after Genesis is Exodus. And it comes in with a plague. Speaks about a plague that passes over those with the blood of the Lamb. That means we have the same DNA as the Lamb himself, the same bloodline. So COVID-19, the plague that came in 2020, which identified that America's judgment has started, that plague passed over us. And all original blacks, and not just, let's say, all originals, all of the original men and women all over the planet, passed over Iran and Syria, passed over Africa, Haiti, all of the areas where the original nation is in, were not affected by the plague. But they lied to us here in America. And they told us that blacks and browns were the most susceptible ones to catch COVID-19. However, they, again, still not identifying the bloodline, because Majority of the black people that you've seen dying from COVID-19 are really master's children. They're really demons, house Negroes. So they have the same bloodline as their devil fathers, not the same blood as the Lamb. Therefore, the plague did not pass over them. However, without knowing that we are plagued by demons, not knowing that there's those walking around that look just like us, but they have a different blood running through their veins, you may have believed the lie, the trick, that COVID-19 was hurting us, and it wasn't. So, COVID-19 did not pass over false Israel. They claim to be the true seed of Abraham, but the plague did not pass over them. It did not pass over America, Britain, Europe. So, or anywhere else where these devils are at. So understand that the time frame is clear. We don't have to guess. Just look at the timeline and look at the events, and everything lines up perfectly. It shares an officer of that nation whom thou shalt serve will I judge. The judgment started in 2020, and it's intensifying every day, sisters and brothers. They are still in judgment right now. All right, and then afterward shall they, speaking about us, come out with great substance. So that means come out. Come out of where? Come out of the land that we are sojourning in. That's clear. With great substance, that means great wealth, sisters and brothers. Great wealth. And it shares, but thou shalt go to thy fathers. Again, reiterated. We coming out of America, we're going somewhere. Where are we going? We're going to thy fathers in peace. And where is our father? Where is our father Abram at when he had the vision of horror? He was in our home, Arabia, the root of civilization, the best part of the planet Earth. So, we're leaving America, sisters and brothers. Thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. And in the fourth generation, remember the 400 years lasted from 1619 to 2019. So we are in the fourth generation right now, sisters and brothers. The 400 years, 1619 to 2019, that's 400 years. So we are in the fourth generation right now. And this is the time period that it says what? In the fourth generation, that shall come hither again. Hither means return. For the iniquity of the Amorite is not yet full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a flaming torch that passed between these pieces. Now, another thing, another subtle point here. Abram. This is the only part in the Bible where our father Abram is called Abram instead of Abraham, which subtly identifies that his seed would be separated from him during this time period. And by these devils' own admission, they say that we are Ham. They say that we're Ham, cursed black to be slaves forever and ever and ever. So they are saying that we're Ham themselves. They're saying that we're Ham. Now, they don't understand that scripture to the fullness. However, they're saying that we are Ham. So they themselves are admitting that we are the true seed of Abraham. Because Abram was separated from his seed Ham during this time period. So that's one thing about having the knowledge of the unsealed scriptures. Once you understand, start learning and understanding, because it's a process, sisters and brothers, and it's an ongoing process, might I add. Once you start understanding the scriptures, learning, you're able to see right through the enemy's plans, their words, all of their lies. You can see right through it. You got laser vision. So by them calling us Ham, they've already admitted that we're the true seed of Abraham. However, you'd have to have knowledge about the Abrahamic covenant. You have to have knowledge about the Holocaust, our true experience, Abram's vision of horror. You would have to know about that to even make that connection. So here we are. We are Ham, separated from our father Abram during this time period. Let's keep moving. The very next verse. In that day, God made a covenant with Abram, saying, Unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. God made a covenant. This is God's sure and volatile word. This is more than a promise, sisters and brothers. And it shows that unto thy seed, that means Abraham's seed exclusively, have I given this land. So this land has been given to us. It's been given to us, sisters and brothers. It's ours. And when you look on the map, those two rivers are not in America. The land that's between those two rivers is Arabia, our promised land, our heavenly home. So this is our destination. The Abrahamic covenant is our vision. And our vision is in the process of being fulfilled, sisters and brothers. So we're going to get into the war in the Middle East and the outcome, the destruction, the economic destruction that America that's about to happen to America. And understand that we have a door out. We have an escape route. Remember, they don't want us to escape this country, this land. However, we have an escape route. So that tells you right there that none of their shrewd plans against us will prevail because we have an escape route. We have a door out. And they want to prevent us from walking through the door out, sisters and brothers. They want to prevent us from leaving this country by any means necessary. So that understand that we are in danger. Our lives are at risk. And they will make a deadly attack on us to prevent us from leaving this country and going home to our own land. Let's keep moving. The war in the Middle East. And occurred war in the heaven. Where is heaven? Heaven is the Middle East. The Michael and the angels of him of the two war with the dragon. And the dragon warred and the angels of it. And not it proved strong. Not but place was found of them yet in the heaven. So right there, that identifies two groups of people that are fighting against each other. Two groups that are fighting against each other. And what's the outcome? You got Michael and his angels versus the dragon and his angels. It shared, and was thrown the dragon the great, the serpent the archaic, the being called devil and the Satan, the making to err, the being inhabited whole. He was thrown into the earth, and the angels of him with him were thrown. So this is identifying that the dragon will be defeated. The dragon and his angels will be defeated. So one group is going to be defeated by the other group. The dragon and his angels will be thrown out of heaven. That means thrown out of the Middle East. Michael and his angels will be victorious. All right, so let's keep moving. Michael and his angels is our God, Master Farad Muhammad. All right, that's Michael. His angels is Iran and Syria. All right, Michael and his angels are our brothers. And our brothers are about to be victorious in this war in the Middle East. So, again, that gets back to, excuse me, sisters and brothers. So, that gets back to the title of this presentation, Victory is Ours, Original Man and Woman. The rise of the original man and woman. We're about to witness our brothers over in the Middle East, Michael and his angels, the God Master Farad Muhammad, Iran and Syria, defeat the House of Saud, which is the dragon, and his angels, which is America, Britain, and false Israel. They're about to be defeated. Now that's going to cause a domino effect. That's going to cause let's keep moving. Well, let me say it like this. What is the dragon? Why is America in the Middle East? Several reasons, but I'm going to stick to this point. They depend on oil to run their economy. They have built this industrial complex and it needs oil to survive. Oil is the lifeblood of America's, Britain, and false Israel's economy. They're dependent on that oil from the Middle East. The dragon, the House of Saud, which is sitting on our land, Arabia, they have renamed our land Saudi Arabia. That's not their land, that's ours. But they're pretending that it's theirs. And they're controlling our oil. So the dragon fuels his angels. He gives them oil. Now, there's other details in there. Yes, America gets oil from other places. However, we're focusing on what's happening right here in the Middle East and how that's about to affect America and affect us, since we're right here in America being held captive in the land of our imprisonment. So, once Michael and his angels are victorious, they're going to take control of our oil, of our land, of our holy sites, and the dragon nor his angels the dragon will be kicked out and his angels won't be getting any oil whatsoever. None. The oil will be cut off totally. And being that America depends on that oil to run their economy, that means that there's going to be an economic collapse. Total economic destruction. Now, what does that mean? How's that going to affect us? And what does economic destruction mean? That means the economy is going to be destroyed. They need oil for everything. They need oil for electricity. They need oil to clean the water. They need oil to come pick up the trash, right? Because they have to put oil into the gas trucks. They need oil to get the food to the grocery store. They need oil to grow the food. They need oil to do everything for the air conditioner. They need oil to turn on the lights, electricity. So understand that America's lights are about to be turned off permanently. It's going to be very dark, sisters and brothers. However, the messenger of the covenant, The light is here on the scene. And we are reflecting that light, sisters and brothers. So you're being told in advance so that you are aware and can prepare and get to safety. Because again, we have a door out of America's destruction. And understand that we have our own economics. We have been given our own land. So we have our own economics. We have to get away from their economic system in order to step into our economic system. So things are about to change very quickly, sisters and brothers. Once America loses this war and get kicked out of the Middle East, things will never be the same. Life as you know it would not be the same, sisters and brothers. Right now, there's a level of comfortability because the lights are on. You can go to the store and get food. These devils are providing everything for us. We're in their homes and driving their cars. They control everything. What we say, how we say it, how we dress, what we eat. All of that is about to be, that control is about to be broken. So this boils down to famine because no food. Understand that, and let me make this clear. Famine is an absence of all resources that's needed to run an economy. So there's going to be a total famine. Now I'm going to double down on this food situation. No food. No food. What does that mean for us? No food. No food. Are we going to have food? Are they looking at us as food? These questions will be answered. Let's keep moving. Also, because it shares the dragon's angels, the dragon and his angels will be defeated. So what's going to happen to false Israel? They claim that they are us. They claim they are the true seed of Abraham. They don't have the history to back up their claim. We have the history. It says that, well, they claim that the Abrahamic covenant has been fulfilled, but it says that we're returning home to Arabia, and it says that we're going home in peace. False Israel is not in Arabia. They're sitting in Palestine, Jerusalem, the Holy Land, okay? And they're not at peace. So they cannot possibly be the true seed of Abraham. Plus, they admitted themselves that they've never been enslaved or in bondage to any man, and I'm paraphrasing here. So it's clear that they are liars. They have stolen our identity. Scriptures tells us, but when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, you will know that her desolation is near. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let those in the city get out, and let those in the country stay out of the city. For these are the days of vengeance to fulfill all that is written. Now, when America and Britain, remember, America and Britain support and back false Israel 100%. They're the ones who put false Israel over there in the first place. They established false Israel in 1948 to counter Elijah Muhammad's claim that the original black man and woman right here in North America are the true seed of Abraham. He declared that we are the true seed of Abraham. And they countered his claim by putting the Jews over in Jerusalem and established false Israel in 1948. However, they is not real. They are fake. We is real, and we have the history to prove it. So it says, when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, you will know her desolation is near. Well, how is Jerusalem going to be surrounded by armies? For one, understand that the angel key unlocks the scriptures, sisters and brothers. And the angel key, this is a formation on the angel key when America and Britain get kicked out of the Middle East. And false Israel is left stranded. No military support, no backing, no resources, no food, no water, no gas, no fuel whatsoever. They're getting cut off too. And so it shares when you see them surrounded by armies, see, because they're left stranded, they're exposed. And they will be surrounded by armies. This is the time of judgment, sisters and brothers. So they're going to reap. They're already reaping what they have sown. They have afflicted the original black men and women. False Israel financed the transatlantic slave trade. They had slaves. They raped us relentlessly around the clock, just like America and Britain. It says that nation whom we served will be judged. False Israel, America, Britain are all part of the same nation. That's the Caucasian nation. Not only that, false Israel has been abominably destroying the Palestinians, starving them to death, withholding all resources, totally humiliating them, and, putting them through a severe famine and mass genocide. So, false Israel has a lot of enemies. And we are in the time of consequence. So that means that what they've done to others will be done to them. It says give them back double. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And that's going to take many different forms as well. Now, this right here proves that false Israel cannot be the true seed of Abraham because it says that they're about to be destroyed. And we are not going to be destroyed. It's impossible to destroy us. So that's another identifying factor right there. However, there's also a critical situation going on. It says when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, you will know that her desolation is near. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let those in the city get out, and let those in the country stay out of the city. For these are the days of vengeance to fulfill all that is written. So there's a critical situation going on in which we're being told to flee, which identifies that we'll be under attack. Why is that? Let's keep moving. The Lord will make you the head and not the tail. You will only move upward and never downward. If you hear and carefully follow the commandments of the Lord your God, which I am giving you today. All right, who's the head right now? False Israel, they control this reality. All right, they're at the top of this reality. They control. False Israel is Satan. Those who call themselves Jews are not. They are liars. They are the synagogue of Satan, which is revealed in the book of Revelations. False Israel has their foot on our back, holding us down. They run America. They run the educational institutions. They're over the colleges, schools. They run the banking system. They are running the media, television, entertainment. What they're doing is they put their black-faced children in there to deceive us, so we do what they do, and it just further destroys us. However, that shrewd plan against us will not work either, because we are exposing that deception. They have Louis Farrakhan, who is a Jew in black skin. He admits his father is a Portuguese Jew that raped his black mother. So that's why Farrakhan has a black skin, because he has a black mother. However, his father is a devil. Okay? And again, it's a scientific biological fact that you are the seed of your father. Farrakhan knows that. That's why he will not speak to demons. He will not identify that he is a demon, because the truth, they cannot speak the truth. The devils cannot speak the truth, period. And so he keeps saying that God makes babies in the wombs to get around the fact that he's a demon. However, that deception will not work, sisters and brothers. And it's with the evidence right here, giving you this information that what they thought they were tricking us about is clearly identifiable. So, false Israel's on top. They're ruling us. They're controlling us. They got their black-faced children telling us what to do, telling us how to act, distorting our image all over the world, giving us a bad name, giving us a bad reputation. Scriptures tells us that the Lord will make you the head, sisters and brothers. We will be the head and not the tail. That means that we're going to be on top. And you will only move upward. That's rising. That means we're going to rise. And never downward. We're never going to be the tail. We're never going to move downward. If you hear and carefully, excuse me, if you hear and carefully follow the commandments of the Lord your God, which I am giving you today. So, as long as you are acting according, not acting, as long as you are operating off of your nature of discipline, sisters and brothers, the 5 pillars of Islam, that's our discipline, that's our protection. Our mind, which is the unsealed book of Revelations, the angel is our mind. And our vision, leaving America and going home to our land, Arabia. All right, so we're going to be in control of ourselves, period. These devils will no longer be controlling us. Now, their entire reality, their entire existence, well, let me say it like this. Their entire reality is based off the lie that false Israel is the true seed of Abraham. But that lie is going to be exposed, which is being exposed now, however, on a worldwide view once false Israel is destroyed. But they cannot let false Israel be destroyed before destroying us. Because if false Israel is destroyed before we are, according to their plans, we're going to spring right up and we're going to rise, take control of ourselves, take control of our reality. Right now, we're not in control. Again, also, we're bringing in a new reality. And they don't want that. So we're going to be in control 100%. We're going to take back everything that belongs to us. So they cannot have this situation right here, because that means their total destruction. That means vengeance. That means payback. That means our men are going to be displaying their strength on 100%. And our women, we're going to be taking our power back, disciplining our beauty, never to be touched and spit on and stepped over again. They can't have that either. So they plan to destroy us, sisters and brothers. However, again, we're here warning you, letting you know about that. They will not be successful in their plans to destroy us either. Now, one of their shrewd plans, one of their deceptions is telling us that we need to get reparations. That's a dream. We have a vision. Vision is the Abrahamic covenant. Our home is Arabia. That's where we're going. We want out. We want out. However, they get their black-faced children, the demons, also such as Louis Farrakhan, is a prime example, telling us that we need to stay here and get 6 states, and we need to have America take care of us. We don't want America taking care of us. We want to take care of ourselves. That's why we want to be in control of ourselves. We want complete and total separation. We have to get out of here. If we're being told, come out, we're going to our fathers in peace. Why would we want to stay in a land that we were being beat and raped and murdered, our babies being torn to shreds by these devils for 400 plus years? Why would we want that? So anybody telling you that is our enemy, period. They're trying to sell us a dream. However, we have a vision. We don't need a dream. A dream is an illusion anyways. This is a wish. So stay focused on the vision. Leaving America and return home to our own land. All right. Now we're going to get into, well, that brings this segment here to a close. On part 4, we'll get into the situation of the economic collapse and details about the famine, because that's on its way to America. Famine. Now, we already see that oil prices are rising daily. Food prices are rising daily, sisters and brothers. It's not going to get any better. This is going to keep intensifying all the way to famine. And they're already saying on the news that America is about to experience a food shortage. So we'll get into the famine portion, the food shortage, the details of what they're saying on the news, and then we're going to look at what the scriptures has to tell us about the famine. And also the motivation that's being given to us, the inspiration, reassurance that we're going to be secured as long as we are operating within our nature of discipline, sisters and brothers, and we have our vision and our mind, which we are accomplishing all of those things as we speak, sisters and brothers. So that brings this segment to a close, and we will continue with part 4. I will be back with more. Assalamu alaikum.